Hello and welcome back to Intense Ideas with Kenzie. The more comments and conversations, discussions that I have with people in regards to the two previous videos that I posted in the Beyond Skinned series on my YouTube, Intense Ideas with Kenzie here on TikTok, the more that kind of unfolds of the layers to all of this. So we're gonna go a little bit further into these ideas today. If you don't know what we're talking about, please feel free to go to my YouTube, My Life as Kenzie, or scroll down on my TikTok and take a look at the other two videos that precursor this one. So in our last video, we made the distinction between prejudice and racism. Hold on. So what we discussed in the last video is that racism is essentially prejudice with power, and that racism cannot be perpetuated by marginalized groups. Now, prejudice can certainly be perpetuated by marginalized groups. So I was having a discussion with a friend of mine who was trying to unfold all of this. So I want to make the distinction that these videos are not to say that being prejudiced is inherently better than being racist. Neither of these things are good things. We're just creating the distinction of what the two words mean and where they come from. So at the heart of it, human behavior is learned. That nature versus nurture question. Like, we're born with certain traits and qualities that we are more likely to present with, less likely to present with, things that maybe we're naturally good at, so on and so forth. But the way we're brought up and the way we're nurtured or not nurtured also plays a huge role in how we behave. We could be going against our nature because of the way we were nurtured. So for any white people who are watching these videos and are being triggered by this idea and distinction between racism and prejudice, because prejudice has been put against you when you have not been intending in any way to harm or hurt or be racist towards another person, because I have experienced this and it sucks. It is not to say that that's okay. I'm not saying that being prejudiced is okay. Prejudice is a learned behavior, just like racism is a learned behavior. My partner, for example, grew up in a family that was extremely racist, and he was raised by his great-grandmother, and she was like damn near 100 years old. So she had some very, very old school ideas. Did he choose this? No. He didn't come out and say, please inundate me with these ideas and these beliefs. It was below his level of awareness for a good portion of his life what was actually happening and what the truth of the situation is. So there's a lot of people in the white category who are recovering from growing up with racist perspectives being pushed on them without their choice or understanding. If you're not educated outside of the small little box that this is what you're being told is what it is, how do you know any different? You don't. And that goes the same for prejudice. So when it comes to racism, that's coming from a power stance. You don't like this other group because you believe that you're better than them. Now, when we're looking at prejudice, this is coming from a place of fear, distrust, and eventually just a genuine dislike of people who identify as or present as white, because so much wrongdoing has been put upon them. People talk about how African Americans raise their children. They're very strict with them a lot of times. And this is not to sound racist. This is an example. Where do you think this comes from? When in the other video I talk about, in the 1940s, if you've ever watched the movie The Green Mile, that is a true story, but the story is actually about a child. I want you to wrap your head around that. And I have a video way, way, way down from last year about this particular individual. But the movie The Green Mile, that's a true story, but it's actually about the person who's incarcerated, the black person who's incarcerated is actually a child who, because he tried to help in a situation where a white person actually did what happened in the movie to those two little girls, because he tried to help, he, without any due process, without any evidence, nothing, was put on the electric chair at 13 years old, and he was so small that they had to put a Bible under him to lift him up to reach for his head to fit into the electric chair. So children in Black communities have always had to stay in line because their life depended on it. if they fell out of line, you could lose your child. So what choice did the parents have other than to be incredibly strict and have to beat it into you that this is what you have to do to make it? These behaviors have just been perpetuated because it gets handed down generation through generation when we stay in these tiny boxes and these little communities where now we're connected all over the world. You're seeing this from I don't know where. We're able to exchange, gain, and decipher information in a totally different way than we ever have before, especially with AI now. Even just a couple of years ago, I mean, it's a totally different world than it was in, say, 2020, 2021. I mean, and I'm not talking about COVID, but like the advancements in technology since then have brought to light really what's going on. So the main purpose of this video was to say to any people who were triggered by the thought of a person of color not being able to be racist because you've had what it felt like to be racism put upon you. And again, I've had this same experience to the point where I am sobbing, crying for a week, not okay because of what happened, when my intention was my intention was support that turned backwards on me, that ended up as I'm a racist. All people's situations are valid. The real question is, how do we support or dismantle the way that we rank human beings? Do we help support or do we help dismantle the idea of race? Whether we are being subjected to racism or prejudice, it does not matter. The real question is, are we supporting these systems or are we helping dismantle them? That's what matters. The way I live my life is that I know if I have prejudice put upon me due to the way that I look, that's not about me. You have to remember that more often than not, unless you are that motherfucker out there being that fucking racist ass motherfucker, it's not about you. So stop making it about you. Stop acting like, oh, they're just so mean to me. No. They have had generational trauma. Trauma is handed down generationally. These people have been through things that you could not possibly imagine as a person of the dominant group, and that is why they cannot perpetuate racism. You could not possibly understand the experience of a black or brown person in America unless you're a black or brown person in America. So what I know is that I don't know, and that I will be extra kind, extra understanding, extra accommodating for any marginalized person because they deserve it. Even if they're being mean to me, they deserve it. They've been through hell. And so have I. But it's not about me in that situation because I'm looked at as part of the dominant group. It's not my time to speak up and shine in that situation. It's theirs. And I'm going to give it to them every time. If they have had to take what the white man has given them for millennia, if you can't stand up and take one moment of frustration because of the color of your skin if you are white, I don't know what to say. Think about it. Think about it. They've been dealing with this forever. How the fuck does it feel? How the fuck does it feel? Not good. Not good, right? And they've been dealing with this forever. And you've been dealing with it for 2 seconds and you want to crawl in a hole and die. Just fucking think about it, man. I urge you to be more understanding. It's not about you unless you are the person pointing the finger and saying whatever the fuck. If there is prejudice put upon you, I would urge you to take that as an opportunity to show respect, to show honesty and vulnerability, and to make a connection if possible. Or to just take it and shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up and be quiet for a second and just hear them. I'm listening. I see you. Love you guys.